If you are joining us, we are live. That's usually why we have technical difficulties in the first place. And we're trying to upgrade the studio and do all that. I'm Steve.
I'm Brian.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Sensible Sociopath.
Thank you.
Hopefully the C-bomb doesn't chase people away right off the bat, and we can adjust it.
Yeah,
Commie? Is that commie?
Yes, communists.
Red Chinese.
All right, Chinese.
So how's it going, gentlemen?
Not too bad.
Everybody have an exciting weekend so far?
So far, yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
We had did you guys have to move your cars because
Yes.
of the next door neighbor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And was she out there?
No.
No.
Dang. All right. I was
I
hoping
brought
for a good
Brian
story.
In case
Yeah.
the crazy lady was there.
In case you need to throw some sexual meat at her. You know Brian has a calendar, right?
I really want to be in Brian's calendar.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think it might have to be a product of ours, we'll get your calendar, either the old one or a new one.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the other.
Sounds good.
So for your calendar shoot, Brian, so I don't know, for anybody that doesn't know, Brian, were you in, what were you part of that the calendar came out of?
The magazine?
You were part of a magazine?
Yes.
Or were you a model, or were you a fireman, or a military man, or?
I was just naked.
All right. And how
That's-
did you get scouted for this?
I responded to an ad.
Oh, interesting.
Men of the Pacific Northwest.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So were you just looking for work at that point, or
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
out of a job, see an ad in the paper?
But I didn't get paid.
You didn't get paid.
No.
All right.
So it's a free gig.
But I was naked.
And how did this all happen? How did this all come through? Like, so you ended up responding to an ad,
Mm-hmm.
and then where do you show up? Where is this place?
Well, actually, it was a friend that responded to the ad, and he was like, hey. He was home that summer from college, and he's like, hey, you want to do something with me? And I'm like, sure.
Oh,
I'm like what? I was thinking movie,
yeah.
hang out, whatever. Well, we did hang out, but not what I thought it was going to be.
Didn't.
Exactly. But he was like,
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
well, it's like a photo shoot, Men of the Pacific Northwest. I'm like, that's weird. But yeah, so I just went along with him to see what it was all about. And and we ended up getting naked.
Interesting.
Yes.
Just the two of you, or?
Well,
was there
at first it
other
was just us.
Uh-huh.
And then the people showed up with cameras and a lighting guy and stuff. But they were just doing a shoot for Men of the Pacific Northwest. And the magazine was called Play Girl something.
Honcho.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Big black ones.
Yeah. Yep. But,
Snow bunnies.
but it was really interesting because the magazine came out a few months later, and
Your father was so proud.
well, here's the thing. My friend, the one that I went with initially, because I didn't even know what the hell was going on, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll just hang out.
Yeah.
He brings over a copy of the magazine. He had
Mhm.
like half a case of them in his backseat of his Camaro. And
Nice.
he walks into the house. He calls my mom and my sisters over. Hey, come check this out. And so he opens up his magazine, flips it to his page there, and my mom is like, she doesn't know what to say. You know, she's known him since like junior high, and like, oh, and then my sisters, oh, what are you looking at? And so they come over and they're looking at my friend completely naked, and they're like, oh. He's like, well, check out the next page.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh. But my dad walked by and he was, wanting to know what was going on in the kitchen. And so he looks over my mom's shoulder that's looking at the magazine, and he's like, yeah, I'm not impressed. And then kept on walking. That's all he ever said. So I take that as a compliment, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And so were there props? Because there has to be something. There has to be some sort of a.
It was outdoors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were there axes or like what was the style of it? I
Are you
guess.
holding a poison ivy leaf over your
No.
junk?
Nope. Nope. I know that one guy was posing next to a canoe, and in his hand he had a paddle, which was kind of weird. But-
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. But like I said, that was a long time ago.
Steve forgot to turn me back up because I
Uh-oh.
was singing earlier.
Well, that'll
Uh-oh.
teach you to sing, Joe.
But yeah, so yeah, that was long, long, many lifetimes ago.
And so, if it was for some reputable magazine, how come
Mhm.
there was no reimbursement for it? I guess is my question. Did your friend screw you over?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In many ways.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. but-
Both on that day.
But I got him back because the Camaro that he brought over the case of nudie magazines to show
Mhm.
my mom and sisters.
Gay porn. Let's call
no.
it what it is.
No. Well, I'm sure that some gay people do look at this magazine, but it's mostly for
What?
it's mostly for women.
Well.
Well, yeah, you know,
Women like porn too. Trust me.
Well.
if
All right.
yeah, if you're
Even
lucky,
married women.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so
Big black ones.
he has this Camaro, and in high school he got this Camaro, and he still was driving it when he was in college. But anyway, this thing he was like fanatic. You could not drink in that car. You could not have any food in the car. I mean, you literally could not do anything in this car because it was
Sounds
like,
like a real buzzkill.
oh, he was real anal about this car. So
And also photo shoots.
exactly.
Mhm.
So one night we're at this party, and it's a toga party.
Hmm.
And I met this woman, and we start talking and drinking and doing some more drinking and a little bit more talking and a lot more drinking. Well, somehow we ended up in the back seat of his Camaro, and we had to go
Without his knowledge.
without his knowledge. And Brian did not know that it was the time of the month for her.
Oh.
So-
no.
He literally shit himself when he discovered the next day. I don't know if it was how he was alerted to what happened in the back seat, but there was evidence left everywhere in the back seat of his
Huh.
prized Camaro. I mean, you couldn't even literally crack open a soda, a beer, eat a McDonald's French fry. You could do anything in the back seat of his car, and I did pretty much everything in the back seat of his car.
Yee.
So I got back at him. Yay! It was a win-win.
So he knew it was you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And DNA did not exist at that point.
No, but I told everybody it was
Oh,
me.
okay. I see. So,
So did he have cloth seats or vinyl seats?
They were fabric.
Oh, jeez.
did he have the T-tops?
No, he did not.
Did you have a mullet back then, Brian?
It was kind of a mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was, but that was in style back then. I actually had my hair like the Rod Stewart. It was blonde, and I had it feathered down the middle. It was long and long in the back.
Oh my god.
And
Was it frosted blonde?
no, it was natural.
Oh, damn it.
And yeah,
No wonder your father was disappointed.
yeah, it was something to behold.
Did you
Yeah.
have the Rod Stewart haircut when you did the photo shoot?
Yes.
Brian, we absolutely need these.
Do you have a copy of these pictures?
You have to have something.
You had to have
Oh,
kept the magazine.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll ask my mom. I think she's got
Totally.
it stuck away somewhere.
She's so proud.
Oh.
She's so proud.
Yeah. She has to.
X'd out your eyes.
Yeah.
And you know, I do remember this. It was a very, very cold day.
Oh.
Just saying.
yes,
It was
yes.
very cold.
Oh,
In the Pacific
excuses,
Northwest. Mhm.
Excuses.
The
It was not
excuses
my
are
best
starting.
side.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
lounging with seals on the rocks.
Exactly.
Navy SEALs.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, because I would imagine anytime you were involved in some sort of photo shoot like that, they have to have props. They have to have body oil. Let's see, what else would they have? Different slinglets for you. Maybe some different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of dudes wrestling, and one gets a fear boner and then turns into a relief boner.
No, just pieces of cardboard to stand on
All right.
because it was near a river and there was a lot of rocks and stuff. So we were just standing on cardboard.
Wow.
But you don't
all
see
right.
that. But yeah, it was high tech.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Did they have like makeup people that came up and powdered various areas to eliminate?
Yes, but I told him to
shadows
get away from me.
Yeah,
He was
that's
making
right.
me nervous. I
He
was
using
already
the
nervous.
wrong end of the brush.
Well, it already was really cold, and then being nervous. Yeah.
Uh,
Things we do.
Yep.
I was gonna say things we do for money, but I never seen a dime. So
Yeah, Brian, you totally undersold yourself. Oh yes,
Maybe
everyone
you'll
wants
go
a calendar,
oh no.
and they want to know. Well, I guess they want to see you with hair, Brian.
Okay, I'll bring a picture.
Maybe
like
we'll
to
have
see
to.
Brian with hair.
Yeah, I would love, like I have those pictures, kind of the '90s pictures with like the little mullet. But I was still like a kid. I'm like, I wish I went through a period of time where there was like the 70s or something, or the 80s, where it was like way out of like today's norms, because like back then it was like Ocean Pacific, and I guess more like
Bowl
Saved
cuts.
by the Bell. Yeah, bowl cuts.
I always
ugh.
had a bowl cut.
Mushroom cuts. Yeah.
right.
Well, I was one of the first people in my high school, one of the first guys to get a pierced ear back in the day. I mean, I was like way ahead of the fad or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I went to this place, like a jewelry place, whatever, and I got
Claire's.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sat there,
That's where
and
I
they,
got my ear pierced.
yeah, they did the little gun, and they pierced my ear,
Make sure you turn it.
and I was all like, wow, this is really cool. And so then I go to school, and everybody was like, that's the wrong ear. That pierced
Your
ear
gay
means you're
ear.
gay. I'm like, and I don't know this. I was just happy that, I was like the first guy ever in my high school to have a pierced ear. So then I went home, was all, deflated and bummed because everybody was thinking I was gay, which there's nothing wrong with being gay. But so then I had my sisters help me, and I pierced the other one. I took the stud out of the wrong ear, put some ice cubes on my ear for like several minutes till I could pinch it and couldn't feel anything, put a bar of soap. They shoved a coat pen through my left ear, and then they was able to get that stud through my correct ear. So, yeah.
Nothing like homemade piercings.
Oh,
I've done that quite a few times.
Get a shot of penicillin afterwards.
yeah. But it was interesting. So, yeah. I was a trendsetter.
You were the Michael Bolton of Michael Bolton.
So what happened?
With what?
You.
Oh, what happened?
When did the trend setting stop?
Probably day after my honeymoon.
Yep. That'll kill it for you.
You had to turn off all the sexy.
I had to turn it off.
Went and got some New Balance shoes, Kirkland jeans.
Easy Striders, yeah.
Right.
Shirts with collars.
I got dad
Ooh.
clothes now.
Yeah.
I love the New Balance shoes.
The walking
dad
shoes, though.
shoes, yeah.
Not the running, the walking.
The walking shoes, yep.
Yes.
My dad has a pair of like dad shoes. And then somebody the other day told me that Skechers are dad shoes now.
They are.
And I'm like, I always wear Skechers.
But you're a dad. See? It's true.
Well, I think they're cooler than the New Balance non-running shoes.
You know those ridiculous ones with the curve in them?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe people actually wore those. Did either of you buy a pair of those? Honestly,
Mm.
No.
come on.
No.
Those are only. I always thought those were people with deformed feet. That's why the shoe was shaped
Like the ones
way.
that had the coil, the shock in the back
Oh
of them.
yeah. I can jump really high now.
Well, those are I like the Nike Shocks. Those were
Yes.
fine. It was the rounded, ridiculous looking ones. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
You didn't. There was like a
Kind of like a
2
toned
years.
down clown shoe.
It was literally completely rounded, the bottom, and people said it was good for your
Oh,
butt. Or,
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what I'm
the,
talking
uh,
about?
You know what? I actually have a pair of those.
The shape
See?
ups.
They-
Yes, shape ups.
Yes, and they're white. They're all white, and they're in a box somewhere at my house. But yes, I do have a pair. I wore them for a while, but it was like when you walk, until you
Yeah.
get used to it, you
You
feel
have to
like
learn
you're
to
like,
walk differently.
yeah, you
It's-
feel
it's
like you're gonna
different.
fall over, and you're leaning, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Having a job where I was on my feet all the time for
Mhm.
12 hours, I actually really liked those shoes. They were very comfortable. 'Cause they had so much sole.
Yeah.
so
But
much
that's it. Is
sole.
it was just a
Mm-hmm.
I
And
didn't
they had
understand
to take
it.
back all the claims about how they
Yeah.
made your butt more shapely because there was no scientific evidence.
Did
that
you
it
Yeah.
did you notice though that your calves got a really good workout? I noticed that when I was wearing mine.
I've never
did
put one
notice
on.
that, yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
I've always had very big calves, though, so you know.
Joe's a meaty boy.
Mm-hmm.
he's husky.
Yeah.
I always made the
husky.
girls at work feel my calves. I'm like, feel these calves. This one guy was like, yeah, those are pretty strong calves. Like, what? You're lugging around this all
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
You get very muscular legs.
From the ankles to the knees, I'm pretty sexy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, is he a bodybuilder? No. Yeah. I think with those, I just the aesthetics of it, just the way that the person looked, I was just like,
They
because
did look weird.
yes, and I have a tendency for pointing out ridiculous things, like people that trend like alkaline water. You
Mm.
know, everybody's like, "Oh, you need alkaline water. You know, it's so much better for you." I'm
I
like,
just turn on the tap.
well, you know, your stomach's full of acid, right? And that
Mhm.
like there's acid-based balances in your body. You can drink all the all the alkaline water you want.
Well, and hard water is alkaline water.
Yeah.
Alkaline water is just water full of minerals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I never understood the trend either. Because having a saltwater fish tank, I had filters to get rid of the alkaline water
Okay.
because it was not good
For the fish.
for the corals.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes. Yeah, Joe, you're pretty big into the old fish tanks.
Yeah.
Not that we want a lesson, because boy,
Oh,
Joe
let me
is
tell you
boring.
what. Talk about protein skimmers and how those work.
Yeah. You're brackish,
Well-
man, Brian. You're brackish.
Well, interesting because we just got a
Protein skimmers
Well,
for
we-
hot tubs as well.
Oh,
yes.
we just got a new pump and filter for our aquarium at home, and it worked great for like a day, and then came home from work, and one of the fish was dead, and then I noticed that the water was all milky, and then open up the top of the tank, and there's like an oil slick, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did an oil tanker break?
Yeah.
Crash into something? But I think the pump, the little motor, the seal
Mhm.
was wrong or blew a gasket, but it was literally an oil slick on top of the aquarium. I was like, I'm not a fish guy like Joe, but I don't think that's normal.
Huh.
So scooped out most of the water, replaced the filter, started it back up with fresh, clean water. Next day, same thing, oil slick.
Mm-hmm.
So went and got a new pump and filter, and so far so good.
That's interesting.
And I was in Maine
Oh.
a couple weeks ago, and had fresh lobster.
Yeah.
Mm.
And did you know that there's a safer way to kill them before you put them in the pot of boiling water?
Is it with a chef's knife?
With a chef's knife.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it was really interesting because you just, right behind the head,
Uh-huh.
you shove the knife in, and then you pull it forward, and
Mhm.
it just splits their head open, and like all the guts and the brains and all that stuff come out. And then you grab them and you kind of shake them, and then you rinse them off a little bit in water, and then you throw them in the boiling pot.
Huh.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some I had a $22 lobster roll sandwich when I went to DC.
You got ripped off.
Dude, it was so fucking good.
Oh, well, these lobsters, they were $6.98 a pound,
Mhm.
but we got them right from the fisherman.
Yeah.
So but I was like, I'm not a math magician, but that's a big markup because most places market price is like $25, $26. Got them for $7.
If you go to the piers and the docks and
Yeah.
stuff, that's
So if you want to save money and get some really good lobster,
fly to Maine.
fly to Maine, get your $1,000 plane tickets, rent a car, drive up to
Yeah.
and yeah, you'll save some money.
Yeah, totally.
It's interesting how things change because did you guys know that lobster used to be the poor person's food back in the 1700s, early 1800s?
Because it was so abundant. Yeah.
Yes, there's letters from prisoners of war during the Revolutionary War that were on British ships in the harbors of New England, British prison ships, where they were complaining about being fed lobster every day.
Yeah, because all the prisoners, that's what they gave them. I mean, they're like sea
Well,
spiders. You know?
no, they're actually like big giant sea cockroaches.
Yes.
If you really think about it, because they're scavengers.
Mhm.
They eat all the dead fish and all the other garbage on the bottom. They're bottom feeders. So for all the people that like lobsters, you're basically eating giant cockroaches
Mhm.
Yeah.
dipped in butter.
Or raccoons.
Yes.
We're getting feedback, though.
Oh,
That lobster is delicious, indeed, and made is also delicious.
Dipped in
Oh,
butter.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
it's like, yeah.
Maine is beautiful. There's a lot of moose there. Did you see any moose
Ah.
while you were in Maine?
No, but I seen the residual big, huge blood splatter where a moose calf was hit on the road.
Oh.
Yes. Well, no, it's not sad because apparently my daughter-in-law seen it happen, and so the mother moose made it across the road. One calf, she actually had two little calves. The first one made it. The second one, not so much.
Ah.
And yeah, there was blood like for
Natural selection.
50, 60 feet. I mean, it just looked like gallons of. I mean, it was pretty sad.
You know, if you hit a full size moose, it's generally fatal
Yeah.
for the driver of the vehicle.
Sure.
What about the moose?
The moose, I think they usually walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why
or they
moose
have
are
to
so
kill it.
mean?
Because they're
They
a moose.
have arthritis. They're such a big animal, and they have such big joints that they have arthritis all the time. And that's why they love to chew on willow trees and aspen bark, because it has a natural salicylate, which is an
Yeah.
aspirin type.
Just like obese people,
That's
but
right.
they like to chew on opioids
Yeah.
That's right.
because they have severe arthritis
You gotta
because they're
numb
so
the
obese.
pain.
It numbs the pain away.
Yeah.
The physical pain and the mental pain.
Yes.
They like that, what is it, peppermint bark? That's the kind of bark they
Mm.
like to chew on.
Hey, I like to chew on peppermint.
But I did.
Have
I,
you seen my calves?
I did learn this though that when you first bring the live lobsters home, you get a cooler. You put in some ice, put in a little bit of water, and then put in some vodka or some alcohol in the water and some salt and some more ice. Let them sit for a couple hours.
You got fresh cocktails.
Well, the lobsters actually, the meat will absorb some of that alcohol.
Mhm.
And then also when you shove the big giant knife in the back of their head,
Uh,
they don't care because they're drunk. They're like drunk and they're half froze to death. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win situation for everybody.
well, they're so used to warm water, being from the oceans.
It's
in
such a
Maine.
shock. What is this?
They're like, what is this, a hot tub?
This is way too warm.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm
Ugh.
drinking. Getting sweaty.
Exactly. So your lobsters are just pitting out, is what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, and then you get a little drunk, and then you dare people to drink the lobster water, and yeah.
That's right. Do it, man. Just drink the lobster water. I'll give you $5.
Well,
You can
and
be in my calendar.
the thing about putting the alcohol in the lobsters, I'm like, lobsters are pretty fucking good. Like when I bought that sandwich, there was like these giant giant chunks in there, and they just put like drizzled. It was the lobster was served cool in like a really buttery roll, and so you have this buttery lobster, and just they put like a little bit of seasoning on it, but it was very simple, and that's one of the things I liked about it. And it was the highest rated one there. So like I went on Yelp, which is so awesome now that we can actually go to a city that we've never been to before and see like tons of reviews on great food. And one of the things that really sold it to me was it was this little hole in the wall place. Like it was in row houses right by Georgetown University, and the place must have been there for years and years. There was like 2 tables in it, and that was pretty much it. There was a
'Cause They
cooler.
spent all their budget on hiring people to write good Yelp reviews.
Well, that could be it. Yeah. No, but it was so good, so good. But like that's one of the things is I budget some money for good meals.
Mm-hmm.
While you travel, because it's like you save money in some places, and then you spend money in the places you want. And lobster was one of those things I wanted while I was there. So,
Very nice.
yeah, it wasn't like I was gonna go there and get if I was going to the South, it would be like barbecue or seafood of some
Biscuits.
kind. Yeah, exactly. A huge biscuit budget.
And sweet tea.
Actually, and before I went to Maine, I was in Virginia, speaking of the South, and I did have
Virginia.
biscuits and gravy and sweet tea.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Oh.
and it was unbelievably hot and muggy there. And they don't take kindly to making jokes about the Civil War. For them in
Really?
the South,
Don't say.
no, seriously, it's like, I mean, you start talking to somebody and it's just like, it just happened like a month ago.
Brian,
mean-
did you bring your liberal Pacific Northwestern views? Like, you know, this flag's a symbol of hate.
There's a lot of
What's
Southern
that?
textbooks that didn't even teach.
Hey everyone! I just wanted to say there's hatred here.
There's a lot of textbooks that don't even teach that the South lost the Civil War.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to them, it's like it's still like real. I mean, well, my great granddaddy died at the great, Battle of Bull Run and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and they have buildings. I actually seen where they have the cannonballs and the musket holes. And I was going through this one building, and they was like, yeah, during the Civil War when it was really cold, we had 365 dead bodies down in the basement. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
You
yeah,
gotta
to them
plant
it's
something when there's no wood left.
yeah,
that's right.
yeah, I tell you. But
Way
they're
to go, Adolf. Yeah.
yeah, it's they're very yeah. It's hard though to find a statue anymore to take a picture of
Yeah,
because now they're all disappearing. It's like really strange. But
yeah.
Wonder where the statues go. There's like closet collectors of
The hate museum. Yeah. It's not the HAIGHT. Yeah.
but no, it was interesting. Yeah.
They should put it on Hate Nashberry. Those
There you go.
San Francisco people would love that. Just the best museum in the world. Full
Oh,
of terror.
another statue for me to pee on.
Yeah. You get Pol Pot in there. You get the Khmer Rouge.
Well,
Yeah.
and then when I was at flew into Reagan International Airport there in D.C.
DCA.
and there is like this huge Ronald Reagan statue, and he's kind of like standing there like this,
Oh, good. Yes.
and I'm
I
thinking,
don't believe that's true.
no, it's true. I should have taken a picture.
Yeah. So the Nazi salute.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
Okay.
it's only a matter of time before the crazies, whoever they may be, demand that gets ripped down. And I'm kind of getting this scene like of in Baghdad when they're yanking down Saddam Hussein's statue. They're
Yeah.
going to be doing that to Ronald Reagan's
Instead of
statue
flip flops,
eventually.
they're
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks
Yeah.
and hemp shirts,
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
Well,
I met one of the Marines that helped pull that statue down. He's in the pictures.
oh, yeah.
yes, so I think I've met him too.
Well, aren't you guys cool?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Met somebody else who knows a famous person the other day, but I can't remember.
They probably know me.
Probably.
They're like, oh yeah, it was Brian. He said he knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Sorry.
Now,
Really
I was
sorry.
thinking that, speaking like of the Civil War and
over, okay.
history,
That's right. Yeah.
now with all this division that we seem to be having in the country with left, right, liberal,
Wait, what's
conservative.
going on? I'm just kidding. Sorry.
This is news to me.
Is
yeah,
it?
exactly.
Well, I was thinking.
Thought we were all
No, I came
Americans.
up with the solution for all this hate, discord, and discontent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of radical, but I really think that it would
Concentration
solve a lot of the problems. Divide the United States into two different countries. Not North and South, because that's already been done, and we know how that turned out,
Mm-hmm.
which I found out again when I was in Virginia.
Yeah.
They're still very, very upset.
You
they're
carpet
pissed.
bagger.
Ah, you Yankee, goddamn it.
Go back to the north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah. But it was like, instead of North and South, let's do East and West United States. West United States, East United States.
All right.
I
And
think we should
yeah.
do Central United States
But
And
then
everything
East,
else.
West Coast.
Well, I think you just have to get rid of
That's
L.A.
all
and New
state.
York, and then you're good. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
and
a
the
little more.
Pacific Northwest. Brian tainted it with his
nakedness.
calendar magazine.
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't
You've
know.
really pushed your liberal agenda, Brian.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Way to
poisoned the
go.
well.
Now I can't even visit the coast.
Yeah.
No, but
with
no,
my
they
refugees
no.
not welcome bumper sticker.
Well, you know what? Welcome refugees. That's fine. I mean, if you really, really believe in that, then you should just have them pitching tents in your backyard, in your front
Right, have 'em
yard.
come live with you.
Have them come live with you.
We hosted refugees when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, met a lot of neat people from Sudan,
Hmm.
and we hosted Afghani lady with her children who actually was a doctor in Afghanistan and that was
Mhm.
cleaning houses here.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that there's a lot of, it goes on your definition. So, like, a refugee is somebody that's fleeing, a conflict or they need asylum from something. If you're just
Very
showing up and
different
don't
from the
want to,
immigrants.
yeah, if you're just showing up because you don't want to fill out the paperwork and hoping to get in,
Mm.
that's a whole different thing. And most, I'm sure most refugees do not like that because they're like, dude, you're just leaving a shitty country. We're leaving a war. We're leaving genocide, oppression.
Our two Sudanese refugees, they lived in a UN refugee camp for 5 years
Jesus,
before they were able to get over here.
I'm sure those are rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you had polio
Okay.
and you walked across all of Sudan at night for 6
Yeah.
months to get to the refugee camp in Kenya
Now, is Darfur as nice as they say it is?
in the summer.
Oh, okay. Yep. Equatorial
The
Africa is
southern
very nice.
hemisphere summer.
Yeah, you see. Even the flies can't live. It is so
That's right.
unbearably hot.
There's no bugs. It's great
Exactly.
because they all are dead
Yep.
from the heat.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's like Antarctica, only drier and the opposite.
I would like to visit Kenya someday.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty cool place. Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
They have snow on the top year round. My buddy who's from Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
he says that Kenyans like you can be racial if you're already a black Kenyan
Mm-hmm.
because he talks about how much better runners the black Kenyans are than anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
He's really into that.
What does
says
he
that
mean you
they
can be
just-
racial? Like you can say black people are better runners than white people?
yeah.
Well,
but
anybody
you're-
can say that.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, all right.
I don't remember now.
I was like,
Yeah.
is he culturally appropriating
No,
my
Like,
ability
I
to
can't
be
say
racial?
white swimmers are better.
Well, you can.
I thought
mean,
he was gonna.
It's
I thought you was gonna say he was gonna be racial, depending on how dark. Like, isn't there like
The blacker you are,
the blacker you are, the faster you are?
yeah.
And then when you're like, I don't know, light skinned, dark. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? You're not as fast. Or,
Mulatto.
yeah,
Or a
exactly.
quattrone.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. I don't know.
The
Civil War terms.
what was it? The Hotel Rwanda. There was
Mhm.
the Hutus and the Tutsis, I believe it was, or the
I was definitely a Tootsie.
yeah. I don't know. I was for whichever one eventually won. I guess I don't know. But I know the one people hated the other people, and then they went on the radio and said they cut down the trees or something, and that was their signal. I'm like, why?
That was the Lorax.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I-
saw that movie.
That was Ferngully. Yeah.
Yes.
I loved
Oh, the
Ferngully.
Tootsies wiped out all the fairies
Did they? Oh.
in Ferngully.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a sad movie, but the good part is I was introduced to James Brown as a child. Do you remember that? Gotta know how to phone it, like phoning Maroney. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, he also was a really good football player. Wasn't
Jim Brown.
Oh.
James Brown.
Oh.
I'm sure he could have played football. Not in his usual attire, though, with the capes and the sequins and the.
Well, and speaking about refugees, and I was thinking, I think we should do a segment called First World Problem,
Mm-hmm.
because
My
get-
water softener's out of salt.
it's like I've heard people go, I had to wait 10 fucking minutes for my latte at Starbucks,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking,
I
I've been
didn't put whipped cream
I've
on
been
it.
in countries where kids have walked through minefields to get to like where they could get fresh, clean water.
Oh, I thought
And-
you were gonna say Starbucks.
Well, no, they have to take a bus and a
Now
train.
they do.
Well, now they do.
Yeah.
But I'm
Oh,
thinking,
it's all the way over there.
but you think about most
Up
things
there,
that we
going
complain
with
about and bitch about are first world problems.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's like, oh God, the traffic. Oh my God. Oh, you have a car.
Yeah.
You have two legs. You can drive.
But life is all about perspective. So you have a unique perspective above most people. Well, maybe not. I don't know about most people, but now that we live in this global environment,
Mhm.
especially with the internet and all that, you can search out the dark side of humanity. And I like to watch the dark side of humanity. So I like to be aware of
Trains
the
in New
violence.
Delhi.
Yes, like just there's so much effed up stuff going on, like China, the workplace accidents.
Mhm.
You could spend the rest of your life watching
Actually,
people.
suicides.
No, not all of them, but they're just there's no OSHA there.
Oh, no.
There's just people reaching into things that are spinning at high RPMs and just being ripped to shreds, crushed. Forklift accidents,
Now that's a bad work day.
dude.
Now that, our bad work day is like, oh my God, I had to work 10 minutes past my time, and
Yeah, they scheduled 2 people off on the day I wanted off. And,
yeah, and poor Chow Ming comes home missing an arm.
Oh yeah,
How was your day at work? Well, I still got one arm. I guess I'm going in tomorrow.
yeah, totally, exactly,
But to cut my pay by half.
exactly. They would do that, and they'd
They
say
would.
it's your fault.
Can't
It's your
work as
fault.
hard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, workman's compensation
Yeah.
is just getting rid of you and hiring somebody else.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But that's it, is I don't think a lot of people search that stuff out. So you live in your little Facebook world of your views, and the algorithms only point the information that you want that makes you feel correct about all your decisions, and that's it. That's your view on life.
And if you don't agree with someone, you delete, unfriend, block,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So you're able to keep yourself in that safe
yeah.
bubble that you live in.
Yeah,
So I'm
'Cause,
not
yeah.
friends with you guys on Facebook.
damn right.
I've never been friends with you on Facebook.
I'm not friends with anyone on Facebook.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I was thinking about opening an account because, when you're playing solitaire and stuff, dude, they give you some sweet perks.
Playing solitaire. Wow.
If you pay a monthly subscription fee.
Well, they only give it to you once,
So
I'm pretty
there's
sure.
been people visiting the Sensible Sociopath Facebook
Oh, really?
page, but I don't think that we have anything on it.
I don't.
Really?
I forgot we even had one, honestly.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
we had one.
Well,
I get
we
these
opened
little
one.
alerts, like 12 people have visited the Sensible
Really?
Sociopath page today. And
All
I'm
right.
like, I don't think they're seeing anything.
Yeah, because really, we've just been kind of the YouTube stuff, and I'm gonna be putting up all the audio stuff on like SoundCloud. So it's a little
Okay.
plug. So I ran a test, and we got just one of the episodes up on there. But I think once we can get them uploading on there, then people can subscribe to the RSS feeds. Because I know a lot of people just listen to podcasts, which I like the video portion, but
When it works.
some people don't. I mean, well, it definitely works. I mean, we've had it every
I'm
time.
just harkening back to the last time I was here, and the video quit for like 15 minutes. You remember that?
Oh, was it when we were trying to play video and stuff?
No, I think it
Ready?
was when we were actually recording the video.
Oh.
It just froze halfway through.
Yeah, because we had it
Then we all got
recording
naked 'cause
instead.
There was no video, and so we
Yeah.
could kind of do whatever we wanted.
Totally. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But like with Joe Rogan's podcast, obviously he has a few more listeners than we do, but like 90% of it's all audio, which is kind of interesting to me. So I don't know.
Because he's just not as pretty as us.
Well, goddamn right. Brian's been in a calendar once.
Yes, and we're gonna do a Sensible Sociopath podcast calendar
That'd be nice.
for Christmas.
I think we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice sweaters.
I've got some hot rods in my garage we can pose on.
Ooh.
We're
Will
not
there-
finished, but
When
it's
you're
kind of like
finished?
us. We're not finished.
Yeah.
We're a work in
Work in
progress.
We can
That's
go.
right.
We can go to a nice junkyard for.
Beauty lies
ambiance.
underneath.
Very nice.
Yes. Yeah, but I think it'd be cool. We get some swag.
Some hot rods on some hot rods.
Yeah.
Break into the
Get it?
stadium, take pictures on the field,
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
or we get chased off by the Caps.
Yeah. We could go with things we really, maybe if the Thunder from Down Under come through town, Just
oh, yeah.
have some greasy, muscly men manhandling us.
posing with us, like
Mhm.
holding us up above their heads.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
This is the
well,
true America's Got Talent.
we'll have all of their lineup, and somewhere we'll mix Brian in and see if people can find him. Like, oh, where's Waldo?
Where it's Brian.
Yeah, pretty sure it's that guy right there with the farmer's head and the gut. You know?
Yeah, now it wouldn't be a blind man could pick me out.
Yeah.
But 30 years ago
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
close to that.
Right, I thought you were like 36 years old.
Well, maybe in
Close.
dog years.
Yeah.
I have a lot of naked pictures from 30 years ago of myself.
Hot.
Mm-hmm.
You selling them on the internet?
Getting your diaper changed.
I think
Oh.
that would be like child porn.
Yeah, you'd probably get in trouble.
Hmm.
Yes.
I mean, depending on what the nature
What's
of the,
the
pictures
cutoff
are.
age? So like you got baby books full of pictures and naked babies. When does it go from it's a naked baby to that's inappropriate, you're going to jail?
I don't know if it's a timing thing. I think it's more of your intention and what they catch you doing with those pictures.
It's like my mom has pictures of me and my two younger sisters and my brother all sitting in the bathtub together. We're all
Yeah.
completely naked.
Yeah,
you
like if
imagine-
Joe was caught with that, looking the way he does, and he
Yes. Or
had
if,
greasy hands
or
and
if that- or if
breathing
that-
a little heavy.
if that picture was
Sweaty
taken while we were all in high school, would that be inappropriate?
Well,
I mean,
No, they'd just be like, these guys are in the military, it's okay.
yeah.
I've seen all the naked men pictures.
Oh.
Of them. Guys do weird things in barracks overseas.
speaking of nude men, many years ago I worked in a maximum security prison. And one day I did 30 strip searches.
Mm,
And I'll tell you what,
that was a busy day.
I mean, you literally, when I say strip searches, you actually have a mag light. You're checking every crease and
Check
crevice.
that cornhole.
Yeah, and it's like
Got
lift
a shank up there?
lift yourself up, bend over, spread your cheeks, cough. And after about the 20th one of that day, I was like,
Ran out of gerbils.
God, there's got to be a better way to pay the bills than this.
So
Seriously. I
So
was
I-
like, oh my God.
I've heard a couple of things as far as the coughing. So like
Mhm.
squatting and coughing. One of them I heard was that, it'll dislodge or something. The other was that it'll actually pierce someone if they
Well-
cough while it's inside them,
Well, here,
which doesn't make sense to me.
well, see, we were told to be. We were looking for any foreign objects, of course,
Mhm.
but like for strings or a fishing line or a hint of something that does not belong there.
Tapeworms.
Exactly.
Kind of like you pull out the dental floss out of your dog's butt.
well,
It's
yeah,
similar.
What's
yeah.
this
But you look,
attached
because as
to?
soon as you would see something that was not
a
supposed
9mm handgun.
you would. Well,
So
speaking of
what?
that, on some of them it was like. You're just like, okay, he hasn't been in prison very long. Others, it was like,
Can't see
if he
it.
was hiding some of them up there, it would fall the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
okay.
hello. It was like, I was looking the flashlight, looking,
The D
hello,
cell.
hello.
Jesus.
It was like, he's a lifer.
yeah.
But it was like,
He's a bottom bitch.
why can I not be working in a female prison? But then it'd
Mm.
probably be about the same thing.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think.
But it was like, yeah, I mean,
So was this when
Ladies
you were
makeup.
when your sexy calendar, Brian?
no, this was a few years after that. But it was when I first got out of the military, and a lot of my military skills didn't really transition very well to the civilian world. So, but it's like, hey, you can work in a prison and check naked men for contraband.
That's when you learned you didn't want to be cute anymore, and you
No.
had to get rid of the hair
That's right.
because you saw what would happen if you ever went to prison.
He kept the earring though, so it was this Mr. Clean vibe
Actually, that's one of the things they called me was Mr. Clean. Yeah.
because of the buttholes.
He's the
No.
best at cleaning out anuses.
Yeah,
like
totally.
you gotta do an anal search. You
Yeah.
go get Bri, okay?
Yeah. Mwah.
He's got the softest
Squirt
hands.
Pine Sol up there. And
That's right.
Yeah.
He's got the car detailing kit, the putty. Uses the putty to get the. Oh look, it's an impression of your anus. Mwah.
this one needs clay barred.
Yeah, it was a very interesting job.
And so do they have you? So you said they have you squat and cough.
Yes.
Now, would things fall out? Had you ever? What did the squat and cough do? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's supposed to if they are holding something, it's, I guess, going to dislodge it or open up the anus to where you'll see,
Okay.
you'll get a peek, a sneak peek
Okay.
of like, it's almost like Christmas. Like,
And so what position are they in and what position are you in that you're trying to peer in their men's birth canal?
you are about 3-4 feet behind them, kind of
Mhm.
bent over with your mag light.
Mhm.
They are bending over, and once they're bent over, they reach back, spread your cheeks and cough. They literally spread their cheeks and cough.
Okay.
I mean,
So it's not like a Jiffy Lube. You're not up underneath.
oh
Yeah.
no, and if you think if
You don't have diarrhea, right? No? Okay, good. Cough.
I'm just going to close my mouth now. We're going to use hand signals.
but it was like if you would see anything, then you would call the correctional medical specialist. They were the real experts in getting into the.
And so what was
Guess what, boys? Found some cocaine today. Who wants the
Mhm.
body?
Yeah, it smells a little weird though.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite sealed.
I
No.
can't smell. I've done too much cocaine.
Yeah.
No, but it was.
So what's the weirdest thing or the you know, cuz
I had a couple really weird things. One of the weird things is I worked in this block. It was called C Block, but we
cock
call.
block. Yeah,
well-
I've been there.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. We called it Nuts or Us because it was the inmates that were force medicated. By force medicated, what I mean is they were forced to take their medications. Hence the word force med.
By
force
the
medicated.
medical staff or by the guards or both?
Both.
Yeah,
both.
okay.
Because if they were taking like behavioral medications, antipsychotic medications, most people would take them willingly.
Uh-huh.
You had to make sure they took it, so you have to look under their tongue after they took their meds. But the ones that refused their medications, they
Mhm.
were force medicated. They were put on this special tier, and it was interesting. One night, I was doing my tier check. And
Aw,
one of the-
sweet.
Oh, I know, making sure they're all tucked in and asleep,
Anybody
Yes.
crying?
and
Need a hug?
Get 'em
I got my
ready for
mag
the
light. I'm
story.
looking through the window of the cell door, and I'm like, I was pretty observant. So I noticed it right away that something was wrong. Well, actually, I noticed it when I got close to the door because it smelled like shit. And I was like, that's weird. And so I look in there. All the walls have like these hieroglyphs, finger painting.
Oh.
And the inmate had done his whole cell, he finger painted with his own shit.
Hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics.
Not hydro.
Well, something
They were
glyphics.
kinda
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I was like, and I'm looking at all these. I mean, I was like looking in a cave. I felt like kind of almost like an archaeologist.
Yeah.
Like all these designs of people and horses, stick figures.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, and after a while, I was like,
Buffalo.
and I was like, holy shit. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the inmate? I didn't see him because I was so involved in looking at all the artwork on the cell walls. And then he pops up out the window. He had put war paint of shit all over his face, and he moosed his hair up in his own feces. And I was like, wow, okay.
Want to be in a calendar?
Yeah, he went.
You
so
look cool.
so I get off the tier. I call the shift sergeant and say, hey, so-and-so is playing with his shit. So so we had to get a couple people to get him out of the cell. And then we had to wake up the tier janitor. Hey, we got a job for you. And so we had to put him in a clean cell.
Was he an inmate, the guy who cleans stuff, the
Yes,
janitor? Okay.
yes. So, yeah, this was his job.
That's a rough job.
That's a very rough job. So he had to go in there and literally clean and disinfect. I think it took him like the rest of the night to get that cell cleaned up. But that was crazy.
So I'm guessing the rookies are the guys you said, or to extract the guy
Yes.
or
Oh,
whatever you
yes.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so the greenhorns,
Yes.
that's them.
Yeah.
Shower duty.
I'll hold the
Keep your
camera.
mouth closed.
Yeah, because you have to film everything so you don't get sued.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'll hold the camera, the video camera. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was one crazy night. Another crazy night that I had, I was up in the control room.
Well, wait. Going back to this guy
Yeah.
before you go to
Yeah.
this next story.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Had he like stopped taking his meds, or just was it something he was known for?
Well,
Was he on drugs?
no, he was a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was not right, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, when his dad came to visit him, he got in a fight, or there was a scuffle in the visiting room because he tried to stick his hands down his dad's pants.
Oh,
which that's not normal, and it's not allowed. That's against the rules.
Well,
No touching.
some
Give me
families
razor
are
blades.
some
Yeah.
families are closer than others.
Right. So,
You
I mean-
really miss someone.
but he was a nice guy. This guy was a nice guy. I used to
Yeah.
have a lot of nice conversations with him when he wasn't repainting his cell and
Mhm.
moosing his hair with feces. But no, he was all right.
How disappointing would it be if you really wanted to paint on the walls and then you just couldn't poop? You know? It's like nobody thinks about that.
You could try painting in your blood.
Well, that's true.
I had one inmate, another night, they were only given disposable razors, but somehow he had been able to get the little thin razor blade out of his disposable razor. And during the tear check, I looked in and he's sitting on his little stainless steel toilet, and I just wave at him and, okay, he's fine. Well, I came back an hour later, he's still sitting on his toilet in his cell. And I was like, oh, that's not right. And he kind of looked really flushed and kind of white and like he didn't feel well. And so I'm asking, are you all right? I look down. There's blood all over his lap and his groin area. He had been taking that disposable razor, this little bitty razor, and was trying to cut his penis off.
Oh,
So that was
The lengths you go to get to a women's
Yeah.
prison.
exactly. I mean, but it was like, that was also very interesting.
and so was he successful?
No.
Hmm.
I mean, if I wouldn't have checked and noticed, in maybe another hour or two he would have been. But I was thinking, one, the initial thing I thought was, well, that's pretty gross.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing I thought, wow, that guy has some real dedication and self-discipline.
Mhm.
To sit there, the pain, can you imagine with a razor blade
Mm-hmm.
cutting your penis off?
I
I mean, that,
I've worn jeans without underwear, so yeah.
you understand? I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty close, Steve.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had to, I gave him props. Took a lot of guts. And he was crazy, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but
That
yeah, he was crazy.
that explains it then. So after that, did you kind of
We
do a
woke up.
closer cock check on
then-
gentlemen, or
No, we
how
had to,
did you adjust your behavior? As
we
a-
had to wake up the tier janitor again. Hey, good news, it's not shit.
Yeah.
Bad news is
It's cock blood.
it's cock blood.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, another cockfight?
There's-
Sorta.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
There were razor blades involved. Yes.
a couple interesting stories. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
And so then there was another. You went from the shit story, and I interrupted you to ask about kind of the guy's mental state,
Mhm.
and then you went to the penis cut off state story. But you were saying something about a control room.
Oh yes, I was. We had this control room where it would control the doors
Mm.
and the tier doors, the cell doors. That's why we called it the control room. For people that's never been
okay.
in prison, that's why the control room
Great
controlled.
story, Brian.
Yes, it's pretty. I hope I'm not getting too technical for you, Joe. But
just absorbing everything.
well, and I have stories about the control room too. But this night, I'm up there and I'm in the control room with the control room officer, and the control room officer was called the control room officer because
Oh, the CRO. Yeah.
yeah, because he was in the control room and he was the officer that was in control of the controls for the
Oh.
tiers. Well, I'm up there with him and we're just hanging out. And there was this one inmate and he had been self-harming.
Mhm.
So we had him in a
Like emotionally, was
no,
he
no, he
negative
wanted-
self-talking? Like I'm so
No.
stupid.
I can't believe I'm in prison.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
No.
I'm the worst getting butt fucked guy ever.
No, he was like suicidal watch.
Okay.
But he was in a straitjacket, and he would stand at the very back of his cell, and you could see through the cell window door from the control room.
Mhm.
You could see him in his straitjacket, and every hour I'd have to go down, make sure he's fine,
Check his cock.
and make sure that it was still there.
Mhm.
See if he needed some water, because if he needed water, I'd have to call down a backup officer. Would have to crack the cell door, give him water, because he's in a straitjacket.
Mhm.
Well, first couple tier checks, he's fine. I get up in the control room, and I'm sitting there, talking to the other officer, and look down, and there he is in his cell, waving his hands, jumping around. I'm like, holy fuck! He's in a straitjacket. So
David Copperfield was his name.
I'll tell you what, this guy was like a reincarnation of Houdini,
Okay.
but he was short, kind of husky, and his Hispanic.
Okay.
But other than that, he was just like Houdini.
Houdini.
We call the shift sergeant. Hey, so and so's out of his straitjacket. Fuck. So we get down there. By the time the shift sergeant comes down, we go out to the cell, and he's sitting on his bunk, back in a straitjacket like this. And my shift sergeant goes,
What the
"Really? Are you? What's going on?" I'm like, "No, seriously." He was completely out of his fucking straitjacket. He's like, "Yeah, right." So he leaves. An hour later, I'm up in the control room. There he is, waving, jumping up and down. He's completely naked. He's out of his straitjacket. I'm like, "You got to be fucking shitting me." So we called the shift sergeant. He did not like to work.
Sure.
I mean, he was there just to sleep.
Yeah.
He wasn't there to work. But anyway, he comes down again. We go back out there. Sure as shit, he's got his straitjacket back on. We pull him out, checked all the buckles and the straps. Everything's totally tight and fine. But this guy, I mean, like that, he could get out of a straitjacket. Yeah.
Then the shift sergeant put you in a straitjacket.
That's
He
right.
didn't believe me. And I was like, "No, seriously, he's completely out of his straitjacket. I'm not kidding you."
So was there CC like the
Closed circuit?
Yeah.
No,
Is that how you saw him from the control room, or you were doing your rounds when you saw him?
both, but they have really safety glass in the doors of the cells. And from the angle of the control room, you can see.
Okay.
And especially if they stand in a certain way,
Yeah.
you can see into their cells. But you also do hourly and
Yeah.
sometimes more. Like if they're on suicide watch, it's like every 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or if you don't like them, it's every couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, but it was there were some interesting people in prison. I'll tell you what.
Huh. And what and so what sort of a prison was this? Was it like the
Maximum security.
was it okay?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I also spent 2.5 years working death row.
Who was the most infamous inmate at this? I mean, you don't have to like name the name, but like what did they do? What did they?
Well, like I said, I worked on death row for 2.5 years, and great guys.
Mhm.
And at that time we had like 21 people on death row. So, but yeah, they were all pretty cool. I mean, I would talk football and
Yeah.
sports playoffs and hunting and killing people and stuff that they, just.
Stuff they enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
kill people too.
But
Yeah.
there were some really interesting people on death row, and it was some. You was like, man, that guy really needs to go. But others were just
Tell
like
us about them.
they were just like Joe or you, just
Mhm.
normal, nice
Mhm.
guys, but they just happened to kill some people.
Mhm.
Which,
It's but any
well, one
individuals. That,
just this one individual, he was a former biker, and his wife was unfortunately was gang raped and killed by a group of guys, and he
other bikers, like
Yes.
another biker gang.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And so it took him a while, but he hunted them down and he killed
Yeesh.
several of them. And so he was on death row for that.
Like the outlaw Josie Wales.
Similar,
Yeah.
but with motorcycles and leather jackets.
Yeah.
But he was really
Chains.
he was really a pretty decent guy.
Totally.
And you're like, and some of those people, it's like, holy shit, they were kind of like normal people that just something really, really bad happened, or they just something snapped and they did something and now they're paying for it.
Yeah.
But others,
Was he a death row inmate?
yeah, he was on death row.
See, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't really get that as a judge, or like putting someone on death row for vengeance against, I mean, I guess if he went and killed their families and did all that, I don't know the
No, he
nature
just
of the story.
he just
but,
killed the men.
Well, then fuck it,
Yeah.
give him 20 years. yeah, you've done your debt.
And then there were others that were on death row that really, I mean, they should have been put. I don't know how you view capital punishment, but
I love it.
and they should have been executed because reading their jackets and the crimes that they committed, and there was no doubt that they were completely guilty.
Mhm.
It was just disgusting. And then there's others like this one individual. He was there because he avenged his wife being brutally gang raped and murdered.
Mhm.
So you just never really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's different levels of murder, and I think vengeance, especially in the a la any Clint Eastwood movie where guys come in and burn down his cabin and kill his family, and then he goes out and kills everyone. You know, that's what I mean by, if you haven't seen Outlaw Josie Wales, one of the greatest westerns I think I've ever seen, which occurs around the time of the Civil War.
Yep.
I think right after the Civil War.
Yep.
But yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
And I don't
Watched
know.
a movie with a capital punishment in it the other day. Infamous, the Truman Capote.
Mm-mm.
Really good movie.
Really?
Starts out kind of like, I don't know if I really want to watch this movie, but Truman Capote's book In Cold Blood is about him researching the murders
Okay.
and the murderers. And he actually, spoiler alert for all of you who haven't seen, the 2004 Infamous movie.
Is that the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman?
No.
Oh, okay.
Before that.
Yeah.
He actually falls in love with one of the murderers
Okay.
that's on death row.
Who plays Capote in it?
It was when I first started the movie. I can't remember the guy's name, but I thought it was really weird that he was playing this role. And I thought right when it started,
Steve
I was
Carell.
not really convinced of his ability to play this role. But then as the movie progressed, he got better, because it's hard to play Truman Capote because he's very very gay.
Yes. He is a character, eccentric character.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like a lot of my brother's friends that I meet down at the gay bars here.
Without your brother's knowledge, or
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Your
doing
wife's
hanging
knowledge?
around with my
Jeff.
buddy? That's my buddy.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, well, we're not blood buddies or anything.
Well, you know, and speaking of capital punishment, it's interesting. I mean, because that's one of those hot topics, like up there with abortion and all those type of things. But it's like, whether you're for capital punishment or not, the people that are like anti-capital punishment, and it's interesting for me to hear them go, "Oh, that is inhumane, and it's cruelty and pain, you know, unnecessary pain to the inmate that's being put to death." And it's like, you know, if you really, and some victims' families have spoke out, that you're so concerned about this convicted murderer that viciously killed our loved one in a very brutal, painful way, you're worried about a little bit of pain, him being basically put to sleep. It's like, I don't understand that, because working on death row, and then I was on the execution team, I actually got to play the role of the inmate at times. We'd go through dry rehearsals, and I actually spent time strapped on the gurney with the tubes taped to my arms. Of course, no IV needles, but to get the timing and the process down. And it is humane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's compared to the way that they killed their victims. I mean, there is no comparison.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think you're looking at it from a point of view of someone that knows the person is guilty and going, why do you have any problem with this? The problem is the people that are not guilty, you know, because they say, oh, it's you know, that some people do not have the resources to fight and to be found innocent, you know. I mean, you know, sure, innocent until proven guilty, but I mean, especially in the media world we live in and all that stuff, you're guilty before you ever.
Well, that's why I would say this, that there has to be absolutely no doubt whatsoever. If there's even a 0.00001% chance that they might be, you definitely do not put to death somebody. But as far as if there is absolutely no guilt, and I mean, no lack
doubt of guilt.
Doubt of guilt, yeah.
Well, and even with DNA and all that stuff, and that's really what it was, you know, all these people were put to death in the 70s, 80s, whatever. Suddenly DNA comes out and they go, holy shit, this doesn't work, you know, like this poor black guy that didn't do anything, you know,
terrible,
didn't have the resources to have a great lawyer, and here's this rich shitbag, you know,
that gets
guy
away with
that
it.
killed his second wife. And he got away with murder, you know, because he has resources to get away with it, you know.
Yeah, I heard this one story. This guy that was in prison for a long time, and he was completely innocent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after he had been in prison for like decades that, and it wasn't through DNA. This other inmate was bragging that he killed his wife along with this pro golfer.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson.
And yeah,
Check
and-
him out on Twitter.
no, and he was telling people this, and they still would not let him out of prison.
Sure.
So he had to break out and crawl through this sewer tunnel. And
Pretty sure this is a movie.
Is this The Fugitive?
I
No.
think this is Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
oh, did they make a movie about this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's yeah.
get busy living
The actor
or
in
get
Infamous,
busy dying.
That's right. The actor in Infamous that played Capote was Toby Jones.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of Toby Jones?
Mm-mm.
He's sure a big fan of Truman
Who
Capote.
is Toby Jones? You never heard of Toby Jones?
I don't know any Toby Jones.
Toby
no.
Jones.
Toby Jones.
Yeah, Toby
Oh.
Jones.
No.
Mm-mm.
So
Loves a lobster roll. That Toby
Was-
Jones.
wasn't also the head of the FBI rumored to be?
Who, Herbert Hoover?
Yeah. No. J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh,
Wasn't he also kind of light in the loafers?
I'm sure he was. But I never knew him personally.
yeah,
Well-
he was supposedly cross-dresser. I think he was a straight guy because I think he had a wife and all that stuff, but he liked to put on the ladies' undies.
But who
Which, A lot
doesn't?
of strange things
Who doesn't?
happened during Prohibition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let him drink. For God's sake, let him drink.
Just let him suppress his sexuality like the rest of us.
Exactly.
For God's sakes.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, we've done a pretty long show today. I think we're at about an hour and 15, something like
Oh.
that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, my wife's going to be pissed.
I know.
What the
But-
hell are you?
That's right.
I don't give a damn about technical difficulties.
She's so pregnant and hungover.
That's just an excuse. I know, I kept
That's
trying
right.
to get pictures with her last night holding the beer can of the I'm like, here, will you hold this for me? And she like grabs it and I'm like,
You're trying to get angles where someone else's arm. It's like got a big tattoo on it. You know? A lot of knuckle hair. Yeah, totally. All right, guys. Well, awesome. Please share our channel with any of your friends.
Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah, because we're on every weekend. Oh yeah, last weekend. Sorry, I had diarrhea. Brian was on vacation. Joe wasn't
I was
able
on
to make it.
vacation.
Yeah, so
Mm.
basically we just that was
If
the
you
first
call
weekend.
Wyoming a vacation.
Nice, beautiful, sexy Wyoming.
Oh, we got to talk about Indian relay races next time at the rodeo.
That sounds inappropriate in many,
Doesn't
many
it?
ways.
It was awesome.
Were they naked?
Best thing ever.
Yeah.
Just about.
Just
All right.
Just the loincloth and the body paint.
Wow.
Wow,
All right.
that sounds really
It's a real
racist.
event.
That
Okay.
does sound nice.
It's a real event.
All right, so awesome. Yeah, we will be coming back to you next week. So please tell your friends.
See ya.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen, and
You
thank
bet.
you for
Thanks,
tuning
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
in. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, will you scratch this itch now, Bri? Please. Really.
You've had that rush for a long
The
time.
sensible sociopath. Sometimes they say
Brain just doesn't-
and cunt. Oops.
This show is not for you.
Smart and creepy.
It's not offensive. It's not standoffish. None of that.
Oh, lady inclusion.
Are you circumcised, Joe?
Oh, I don't know if we know each other well enough, Steve.
Come on, whip it out.
Farts in a